Expelliarmus! Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Gluttons for Geekdom Live. I am Nick James. Today we're going back into the wonderful wizarding world of Harry Potter, and we are going to be talking about numero 4. Yes, 2 languages, one dumb idiot. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire is what we're going at today. First and foremost, that's a big book. That's a very big book, guys. This one pretty much doubles any of the first 3 combined with each other. Not all 3. But 1 and 2 isn't bigger than this 1, and 3 isn't bigger than this 2 and 3, so on and so forth. So, as I've said in my theory about what happened, she wrote the first one, and it was lightning in a bottle, and she was really excited, and they said, can you do that again? And she said, alright, let me try, and does it again. And then the third one goes, I think I have this great story going, let me do it, and they still weren't sure. Because the first 3 are great, but they're kind of small, and they are webbed into the world. But if you really talk about the story of what Harry Potter is about, it starts really at the end of this. Stuff is forementioned, and it is brought back and, like I said, webbed into the world, but at the end of this book, the story is going. You know, the events of this cannot be undone. So that is why she said, even, you know, it has to be done. That's why it is just so big and jam-packed with people and background and knowledge and stuff like that. Also, what was really brilliant about it, so number 4, this was Harry Potter fever. Started with this one. I mean, the first ones were released at different dates. This one was released on the US and the UK at the same day, July 8th, 2000. They ordered 3.9 million, and I think 3 million of them went out that weekend. Like, that's pretty freaking awesome. That's a lot of books. So, fun fact, what I've heard is because of those numbers and because of the rush, there was a little bit of a goof up at the end where James came out of the wand first. And if you know, they go backwards, so James should have come earlier. So that is pretty awesome. Well, not awesome, it's just kind of cool that, you know, it's awesome in the fact that they were like, you just give us the book. They were like, okay, and by the time they got to the end, they had to revise it and re-edit it and ship it out. So I'm sure if you have a first edition, you have that little blunder in it. Like I said, July 8th, 2000, both dates, big, massive. And this is why she gave it such a due. Now, there's a lot of stuff cut out between this and the movie, and I'm going to go into some of it, but not really all of it. Some of it is okay to be left out. Now, like, you have to remember, this has to fit into a few hours. I know that I say, you know, Gluttons for Geekdom, and a community of Gluttons for Harry Potter Geekdom could take watching an 8-hour movie to make every single page of this come to life, but it is what it is. So they had to shorten some stuff. House Elves is one of the things that really goes under the radar. We know Dobby, he's in the second one, and until he kind of returns in the last one, we don't see him again. And in this one, he and Winky, another House Elf, are really big into it, really a big part of the story, and she goes on to be part of the story. And if you know, I'll go through it just a little bit, just because it's kind of funny. She gets fired from her job, and she's just kind of sad sitting around getting drunk on butterbeer. And it's kind of funny to laugh at. It's not really, because as you read it, she's, like, really torn up. But, like, just thinking about a little elf wearing, like, all dirty clothes, just, like, drinking butterbeer, which is basically cream soda. But to them, it's alcoholic, and they're just like, I'm not going to clean anything. It's, I don't know, I got a little bit of a giggle out of it. The other thing that, like, now this is something I wanted to see that I didn't in the opening, because when we open, we get the very, very, very abbreviated story of the old man caretaker, but we start right with Voldemort there, and he goes ahead and kills him, and Harry wakes up in the Weasley's house. In the book, you know, he's still at the Dursleys, and he has to get picked up, and we have the funny instance of the Weasleys trying to get through the fireplace for the Flu Network, and they've blocked it off, and they're all trying to get in and whatnot, and would have liked to seen that. They also sent them a letter with a bunch of stamps on it. I would have liked just, you know, little things like that, but again, compression. It just had to happen. Something that didn't have to happen, that gets brought up, that I still don't know, so if you know, let me know, about Durmstrang and hold on, I want to say it right, Beauxbatons. Those are the 2 schools that come for the Tri-Wizard Tournament. One more fun fact, let me jump back. It was going to be called Harry Potter and the Tri-Wizard Tournament, and she's like, Goblet of Fire, it's just, and it's true, you know, if you really think about it, it is better. So they come for the Tri-Wizard Tournament. There are 2 of the schools. I know that there's one more in England, I believe, and then we know now that there's more in the U.S. come, but they weren't segregated by sex. Like when they come, Durmstrang's is all male, and they kind of come in with giant sticks, and they're boom, 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 and the females come in and they're all Why? What's up with that, guys? Can somebody give me an answer? Because I want to forget it gets that, just pull that right out. Like, why did they have to do that? It serves a purpose, I guess. Somewhere somebody thought that was I don't know. Anyway, we go through, and Victor Crumb gets changed a lot. He's given a lot more to do in the books, and I kind of like reading more about him. And he does come back in later books, but we will get to that when it comes to it. One thing that somebody said they want to talk about the most is the challenges. It is the Tri-Wizard Tournament, so they have the three, and the first one is the dragon. The dragon in the movie is spectacular. She gets off his chain, and he's flying around, and he catches Harry, and we get to see all the school. It's not how it happened in the book. He was just like, Asio! And he got his broom, and he was like, whoomp, and snatches it right up. And they actually go in and talk about, in the book, about how they did it. Cedric Diggory made himself look like a rock, and like edged towards it, and he looked like a rock. Fleur, who we know comes back and meets a character who was supposed to be in this, meets a Weasley, and she marries him, and we don't meet him till later on, but he was in this. Just a little shout out to Bill. She makes her dragon fall asleep with some sort of like hypnic kind of stuff going on, and then Crumb gets a little bit of points taken off. He uses a conjunctivitis charm. Isn't that kind of mean? They're just dragons. They don't know what they're doing, and because he uses that, it gets all hurt, and it stomps and actually hurts real eggs. So Victor Crumb, not being nice, and we don't really get that whole background of the Belikov guy. We do get the one scene in the Pensive of him, but we do know, if you're watching, if you've gluttoned for the Potter, that there is a whole other thing to him in the Dark Mark, and he flees. But again, I understand why they have to keep it short. So again, back to number 2. Back to the house elf. We started with some Dobby. He is the one who gets Harry Potter the Gillyweed, not Neville. Now the plan starts in the movie. It's up to that point where Neville doesn't ever get to the point to say, well, I know what Gillyweed is. He just never thinks to bring it up because that's the character of Neville. But because of Moody, a.k.a. Crouch Jr., going through the motions, he gets Dobby to overhear by mistake, and Dobby's like, I know where to get that, and goes in. He robs Snape, and that's where he gets the Gillyweed. Then the third one, something I wanted to see up on the screen, was what went on with all of the other challenges. It was just the maze. A Sphinx would have been cool to see. There was another Boggart that was a Dementor. That would have been really cool to see. Speaking of which, let's get some comments going on down below. If you want to write in, what do you think your Dementor would be? I thought about this really hard, and like the only thing I know that I'm absolutely like terrified of that can make me, it's like if I'm asleep and I wake up in a dream and I'm strapped to a board and like a dentist or an unpracticed doctor's like, oh, it's okay, don't worry, and like that just freaks me the hell out. I really can't know what my Boggart would look like if that was true. Leave some comments down underneath. Let us know what is going on. One more thing. Rita Skeeter in this movie is played very well, but she sucks really hard in the book. I mean, she is really just a pain in the butt to get behind. And she's got the quid pro quo, or the quix quil pro. Quid pro quo is a legal term, something else. And she's actually an animargus, and she turns into a little beetle. And that's really awesome, not brought up at all. But I wanted to see the satisfying look of like her in there, like, oh, Hermione catches her, and she can't do anything, because how can you say that I'm an unregistered animargus? It's illegal to do so. So I would have loved to see like that, I got you, you witch. That would have been really good. Now I see some coming in. My Dementor would be a large slimy spider. Yeah, spider. So you're like with Ron. What do you think that you would do to do your ridiculous? Would you go the same as Ron and slip out onto roller skates, or what would be your ridiculous? Like, I can't think of mine either, because if I'm strapped down, I have Ron like ridiculous. I guess I'm just laying. I don't know. I can't think of that. Let's see what else happened live, and then I'm going to do all the plugs. Looks like somebody's on for Gluttons. What's up, guys? Ooh, cancel. I changed to the few years ago. Oh, thanks, man. That's perfect. Sorry, this is getting a little boring. My fault, guys. I have another glutton on talking to me. I appreciate you guys writing in, getting more awesome content. Like I said, more here. We're also around. If you bring up stuff, Bobby Deuce, thank you, sir. I wasn't sure if it was you or Rick. Bobby Deuce there doesn't like either spiders. So, Bobby Deuce, what would you do for your ridiculous? That's great. This is like having my friend here. Hey, Bobby, this is wonderful. If you don't know, Bobby Deuce does our podcast with us, of course. Him and Mr. Rick Classis. Find us on YouTube, Podbean, iTunes. You can tweet us at Gluttonous Geeks. You can find us on Instagram at Gluttons for Geekdom. But most importantly, we are here on Facebook. We do this live. I'm talking to Bobby right now. I could be you if you wanted. Type in, let us know what you're doing. As far as the rest of the week goes, oh, we got an answer. I'd become Spider-Man. Spider-Man could beat a large slimy spider. Good on you, sir. Great answer. That would be really good. Like, gotcha. Tomorrow, Saturday morning animation congregation, Static Shock. It's getting moved to 10. Waking up at 7 a.m. is just not on the menu anymore. 10 a.m., Saturday morning animation congregation. Sunday, we get a new podcast out about the DCEU, so everything that's going on with the films that are out, the films that are coming out. We all get pretty hyped about it. It's me, Bobby Deuce Rick Classic. I'll be back on Tuesday with the Gluttons for Geekdom Live at 5. Let me know what you want to talk about. Like I said, though, we're here. We're around. Let us know what you want to talk about next time. I have been Nick James. Thank you for coming to the Wizarding World with me. What's a good one to go out on? I just go out on the same one that I should. Knox.